So add a cylinder and vertex should be 8, and you need to delete its bottom verts because we want a 2D planar shape. So you can see, turn on your X-ray mode and then rotate it into the 90 degree, and you will get this octagon, and snap it to the 3D cursor like this, and Shift D to duplicate, and Shift D to duplicate one more time, and one more time you need to duplicate it because we want 4 circles, like 4 octagons, and we will get this pattern. Okay, just adjust the scale, which is important because for the design purpose we need to adjust the scale, we need to give the proper scale. So just give the proper scale and delete the center octagon, and delete the unnecessary things in the viewport. Okay, now select everything and then join them, and now we will create the faces in between these octagons. So just select these edges and then press F to fill the gap, and you will get these faces. Now you need to select these octagons. You can select the outer edges. So you can see I am selecting this. Just select like this and then E to extrude and move them along the y-axis at the back side like this. And then you need to scale it down in a proper scale. So make sure you give the right number there for the scale because we want a similar scale for all 4, and then move them along the z-axis like this. We want a little bit of tapper there, tapper kind of shape, so that's why you need to move the top faces along the z-axis and these faces along the x-axis like this. So we will get the tapper look on that particular mesh part. Okay, and now that's look good. Now you can take the symmetry and make sure your center should be at the geometry, and make sure your geometry should be at the 3D cursor. That will be more convenient. And then take the symmetry. Use the symmetrize option, mesh, then symmetrize, and choose the proper axis. And take the symmetry along the z-axis also, and you will get the same look. Now select this octagon, and now they are not the octagon, and then you can delete the faces, otherwise you can insert and then delete the center face. That's also possible, or you can just select these octagons and then you can delete only faces, so there will be only edges and the words. And now you need to add the loop cuts like this because we want the hard edge on the sum part, and in the first term if you add the loop cuts and you get the proper hard edge on your mesh, then it will be more easier later on. You won't face in more difficulty. So that's why initially you should know what you want to create and how should you go to achieve that result. So this kind of model, so particularly this model I have modeling in this tutorial for the 3rd time, so that's why I know when should I add the loops edges and how should I go to achieve the right result. So now you can see I'm using the edge slide, so double tap G and you can press and hold the control for snapping, and then you need to just slide these words, so you can see the edge flow right there, and this edge flow will be more helpful to get the hard edge, and which won't deform your circular shape also. That's why the edge flow is important. So just select these words and press and hold control, double tap G and then press and hold control, and you can move your words, you can slide your words, and then select this octagonical shape, and now it's not the octagon, so it has something 8 plus 4, so it's 12gon, it's polygon. Okay, then select this edge and then extrude inside like this and then scale it down. Same thing you have to do here, and you can see little bit of maze because of there are a few words more, and that's why this happened. So just you need to move the words manually. So you can see if I'm inserting this then also I will get the same kind of thing. So just try to find out the different ways so you will get the more right result. So just extrude it and then scale it down like this, and then move it along the x-axis, and that will be more easier. And then use the loop tool and make sure select the circle. And now you can see there is a little bit of weirdness happens because there is a double edge, and because of that double edge the weirdness happens. So make sure you won't have any double edge on your mesh. If you have any double edge, then you can use the merge by distance, so it will merge the words, or otherwise you can delete the face and you can do that particular step one more time. So use the loop tool, and now you need to move that circle along the x-axis like this, and then use the loop tool one more time here, and then move this circle along the z-axis. And now just you need to take the symmetry here, and now you can see everything looks pretty well. You can use the loop tool for this also, and make sure maybe it will work or it won't work. It's totally depend on the position of the words. If it's work, then it's fine. If it's not, then you try different ways or you can leave it. If you are satisfied with your design, then you can keep it as it is. And now you can see the problem is there because there are little bit of double words, and which causes this effect. So how can we solve these kind of problems? And just check the face orientation is right, and you can see the face orientation is right. So this problem happens because of the double words. So we need to merge the words. So select everything and press M and then merge by distance, and you can see we have solved that problem. And now it's look pretty well. Decent geometry we have got here. And now we can fill the more gaps. So just select these edges and then press F and add a loop cuts like this. That's not difficult. Before adding the loop cuts we can create this, because if we add loop cut then it will be more longer process to fill this gap. And then you can take the symmetry. Take the symmetry from the x-axis and z-axis. That will be easier for you to understand the design. If you got the symmetrical design, then you will get more ideas to improve your design work, improve your model. And now you can see there are a little bit of work that sometimes this kind of things happens because of the symmetry, symmetrize option. So that's why you need to repeat your process and just get the right shape for your mesh. You have to do the trials and errors game. You have to play that trials and errors game. There is no any option. Nobody can perfect in the first time. I modeled this particular piece, hard surface model, for the 3 times. And then take the symmetry like this. And now you can see our mesh looks pretty well decent. And now you can add the loop cuts, and we have solved that chord based topology, and we got that chord based topology. Some few triangles are fine, but make sure you should have good amount of chords on your mesh. And now you can add loop cuts if it's necessary. You want, then you can add loop cuts like this to add more geometry on your mesh. And now just you need to select these edges and then press F. Okay, they take the symmetry, and now you can see our mesh looks decent. And now you need to start to think, how can I take this mesh to the next level? How can I add more details on it? So use the simple operations, insert, extrude, this kind of simple operations. And if you want to add more details on your mesh, then make sure you won't delete the circular faces, the faces which will help you to create the circle boolean. So keep them as it is. If you extrude them, if you delete them, then it will be more difficult to get that, to use the loop tool one more time and to solve that problem. So that's why keeping them as it is, and at the last time when you will be clear and you don't want to add more details on your mesh, that time you can extrude those booleans like a circular booleans. So that's why I keep that circular boolean which is at the center. And now just add the details on your mesh. Use the simple boolean operations like extrude, bevel, insert, this kind of thing. Simple modeling you have to do here. After getting the basic shape, basic idea for your mesh, everything is easy. Just you need to add secondary and tertiary details on your mesh. So that's why references are important. You will get more references and you will get more ideas from those references. So if I talk about the subdivision surface modeling, is the technique for making the high resolution models by multiplying a lower resolution sketch model and using the software to subdivide for the smoother mesh. Subdivision increases the number of words on the model, making curves more rounded. So that's why the subdivision surface modeling is used in the production workflow, because we want the high-res models. Then usually each subdivision level increase the words count 4x the original count. So that's, if you are a game artist, then you should you have some limits for the vertex count. So that's why you can't use the subdivision surface modeling. You can use the subdivision surface model. For the game artist, high poly hard surface usually means creating the mechanical constructed model which are used to bake into normal map and other types of textures, and which are in turn used to lower resolution game friendly model. So in the game also subdivision surface models are used, because we can create the high res models and then we can bake those textures and the details into the normal maps, and we can apply those normal maps for the low res models, low low words models, polycount. Yeah. So that's why the subdivision surface modeling is very useful, and the subdivision surface modeling is also used to create the organic shapes. If you see the organic modeling, any kind of organic model, then you can see the subdivision surface models. So that's why the subdivision surface modeling is important. And now you can see we created good details on our mesh. Simple things we have done here. Simple ideas, not too complex. So now just select these faces, and now you can take these models to the next level. So I am deleting these faces because I want to get the right shape for there. So just delete these faces and then take the symmetry, and now you can see taking the symmetry before the loop, using the loop tool, that is more easier. And then after that you can use the loop tool to, if you want to add the center boolean at the center, then in that case you can first use the symmetry, and finally after that you can use the loop tool to add the boolean on your mesh. And I got the one more idea also here, so that's why just add a loop cuts to make the edges more sharp and hard if you want, and if you want to keep them as it is, then you can keep them. It doesn't matter, it's totally depend on you. So just add loop cuts like this. And then take the symmetry. Then you need to add more details on your mesh. So that's why I'm extruding this surface here, and I'm trying to create the simple design here. Not too complex, very simple. Simple things makes huge difference, huge impact on your model. So that's why try to keep your design simple. Try to keep the design, your model as simple as possible, so you can get the more good look for your mesh. And then you can use the loop tool to add that boolean on your mesh. And now you can see our mesh looks pretty well. Decent kind of hard surface modeling we have done here. So, do you know the Mike Andrew Nish? He was the great hard surface artist, and he said something about the subdivision surface modeling or hard surface modeling. He says that they gathered 2 tons of references and make sure they are correct. If you are modeling something like a gun, make sure it's a real gun. Airsoft guns looked close to a real gun things, but they leaves out a lot of details. So that's why you should have bunch of references. So you will get that the photographic memory, and you can create amazing hard surface. And it's totally depend on your practice. Constantly check your model against your reference to make sure it has the right proportion before you start to add details, and it's way easier to fix a proportion before the model gets complex. So that's why you need a bunch of reference images. And now you can see I'm adding the more details on this mesh, and because I got this idea from the reference images also. So that's why you need good references. Your observation should be good. And now you can see I have created the simple design on my mesh, and now our mesh looks pretty well. Decent kind of modeling we have done here. And if you want more details, then you can go and add more details on your mesh. Just select this edge and then add a bevel and then extrude inside like this. And create a simple designs. So now I'm adding the little bit more detail on our mesh. So just I want to create a boolean, and you can see our subdivision surface level is very high, so that's why we are getting the perfect circle right there. Otherwise it will be difficult. So just select these faces and use the insert operation like this, and just you need to use the one more time insert operation and then use loop tool, and then you will get this kind of rectangle and then square, and then scale it down like this. have to scale it down individually. You can't scale them at the one time. And then delete these faces, insert and then delete these faces, and turn on your subdivision surface modifier, and that's look pretty well. Thanks for watching. If you like this tutorial, then hit that like button and subscribe my YouTube channel. Bye bye, see you in the next video. Take care.